Coming up on AgweekTV, Trump's tariffs are in limbo after a Supreme Court decision. What does that mean for farmers? There are big changes to dicamba use farmers need to know about before the growing season starts. Minnesota farmers and ag processors are concerned about a lack of workers after the ice surge in the state. And the University of Minnesota releases a new variety of oats that's even healthier for your heart. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. What's next now that the U.S. Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's tariffs? Trump imposed the tariffs under a law that is meant for national emergencies, known as the International Emergencies Economic Powers Act. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices upheld a lower court's decision that Trump's use of this 1977 law exceeded his authority. This landmark decision will undoubtedly impact agriculture, but many in the industry say farmers are already feeling the impact of those tariffs. Minnesota Farmers Union President Gary Werdish released a statement saying, "Unnecessary trade wars caused by the president's tariffs have helped create a crisis in farm country, with farmers facing a double squeeze of low commodity prices and high input costs due to these tariffs." National Farmers Union President Rob LaRue said over the past year, tariffs have raised input costs, disrupted export markets, and triggered retaliation against U.S. agricultural goods. In an already fragile farm economy, uncertainty has hit family operations hardest. Minnesota's Ag Commissioner says he's glad to see ice operations wind down in the state, but concerns remain about worker shortages. At the first Ag Committee hearings of the 2026 legislative session, DFL lawmakers in both the House and Senate questioned Ag Commissioner Tom Peterson about how the ice operations in the state are affecting agriculture and immigrant labor. He says he feels better about the situation this week than he did last week, and he hopes it's early enough that farmers can get the H-2A visas they need in time for spring planting. He says right now, farmers say they have about half the workers they need for the season.
But they're finding workers, they can go to another state, and they can go work somewhere else where it's safer or easier. And so, assuring those workers, people are working really hard to ensure that Minnesota is a safe place to come and that we have protocols in place to have those workers come. So
Peterson says the worker shortage is also a big issue for operations like meat processors. He says Minnesota's just-in-time delivery system for hogs and turkeys is very dependent on a smooth-flowing supply chain. In early February, the EPA announced there would be new labels for over-the-top dicamba application on cotton and soybean crops. This comes 2 years after the U.S. District Court vacated restrictions for certain dicamba products, but the battle is still ongoing. In this week's AgWeek cover story, I met with a weed specialist to find out more about what farmers should be aware of when it comes to using dicamba in their acres.
U.S. EPA announced that they're bringing back registration for 3 dicamba products for use of over-the-top in soybean, dicamba-tolerant soybean, in the 2026 season.
Soybean growers are crossing their fingers that a third label will be the charm for over-the-top dicamba use in the crop. But legal challenges continue to raise questions about the future use of the herbicide. Many farmers are breathing a sigh of relief in North Dakota, especially where the fields are prone to problems with kochia.
So this brings us another control option for use of controlling weeds in soybean. So for those folks who like the Extend Flex soybean system and like the dicamba component, this means that we now have legal options for use in the 2026 and currently forecast now the 2027 growing season as well. So it is a 2-year label for both or all 3 of those products. So this means for folks primarily in our region, we think about things like kochia, where we like to have dicamba for use because it's a little bit more effective than the other growth regulator 2,4-D that we can use in the Enlist system. So certainly those folks that are trying to control kochia are pretty excited to have this option back on the table.
AGWEEK encourages farmers to stay informed about the latest happenings surrounding the herbicide. Each state can have additional restrictions on top of the federal rules.
So certainly pay attention within the state you are farming in. There will be mandatory training that will come about if you want to use these products, and those key points will be addressed, especially on a state-by-state basis at those trainings.
Groups opposed to use of over-the-top dicamba have appealed an earlier case in federal court and have asked for the registrations to be vacated. But for now, AGWEEK forecasts that farmers in the region will be able to get their hands on dicamba and does not anticipate a dicamba shortage.
So at this point, it does sound like farmers will be able to access these products for the 2026 growing season in our geography. Part of that is we are kind of a target geography, knowing we have some kochia problems. I do think that they have had some production runs already, and we always have time on our hands up here compared to some of our southern U.S. states. So I do think we will have plenty of product on hand for those folks who wish to use it in the upcoming growing season.
You can read more in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com.
Fertilizer bills cutting into your bottom line? With New Age Farming's Mycomax and Bionic, farmers are already saving $50 to $100+ per acre while building bigger root systems that tap nutrients already in your soil and the atmosphere. Less leaching, more water to every plant, and stronger yields across your acres. See how much you can save. Visit farmfungi.com and check out the Pick Your Profit program today.
At Matic Ranch Supply, we believe in authenticity, which is why we only sell products we use and those we trust. From fencing to animal health products to the meat we raise on our very own ranch. We're there at every step of the process because we understand how a little help can go a long way in the ranching community. Visit MaticRanchSupply.com to learn how we can help you make more money on your farm and ranch.
That's best to have come in for an uptime. That way you don't have downtime later. For every hour that they're down, that costs them money. Fuel cost, the wages for their hired guys. If they don't get out there at the right time, their crop's too dry, it starts falling off, they start losing their bushels, they start losing money in a sense. You're literally just throwing money on the ground. So their time is precious and crucial, so they'd hate to have the downtime because they have to be out there and get it done as fast as possible. You put a lot of time into an uptime inspection. You know, it could take 10 to 12 hours to thoroughly inspect a machine to make sure that
What One Stop Shop means to us at North Star Ag is we have a fully staffed service department, fully stocked parts department, as well as the sales department. We're also very mobile. We have service trucks that we can also meet you on the farm. You can have a piece of equipment that you're not really sure what you want to buy. You can come to us at North Star Ag. We can really show you enough selection, have enough knowledge, and have enough price points where you feel good about walking out with your purchase that day.
As your farm evolves, so do the challenges that come with it. At Superior Grain Equipment, our systems are built to make your job easier and help your grain reach its full potential. From gentle drying to durable storage, get the flexibility to market your grain on your time. Superior Grain Equipment, proven solutions to help you grow.
Soybeans can be an important part of growing and finishing cattle. Researchers at South Dakota State University have been studying the use of soy in cattle diets. Their findings were presented at the South Dakota Cattlemen's Education Day. Ariana Schumacher has more.
Warren Rushi has been studying the use of heat-treated soybeans in cattle diets. He says this practice addresses two issues in the ag industry: increasing pounds of beef produced and finding a new domestic market for soybeans.
In a nutshell, what we've found is that feeding heat-treated soybeans has been a tool for us to increase cattle growth by anywhere from, in finishing cattle, anywhere from 22 to 30 pounds of carcass weight.
Using heat-treated soybeans in a cattle diet is not common.
Distillers has been king for a lot of years for some really good reasons. Now, though, what's changed is that price spread between corn and distillers has certainly tightened up. And as we start thinking about cattle with increased genetic potential for growth and increased outweights, we thought it was time to evaluate some other alternatives.
There are three main ways that people heat treat soybeans: pressing, roasting, and steam flaking.
What we've evaluated has been products that have been extruded. That involves processing the soybeans through a screw press, so it combines heat, creates heat and pressure to change that protein structure. Others have used roasting. That's, as the name implies, that's heat, whether from electrical or an open flame source. And others have used, just like what we do with corn in large-scale feedlots, they've used the steam flaking approach, where we're applying steam and roller pressure to transform that soy product.
In the blended study, they found diet cost increased about $20 per ton on a dry matter basis.
Soybeans are more expensive than distillers, but that small investment in additional feed, getting that kind of performance response is adding $40 to $50 per head in terms of net margin on finishing cattle.
As more people have learned about the data collected from these studies, some have started to try it out on their own operations, and Rushi thinks it could become a more common practice in the industry.
Looking in the feeding industry as a whole in the U.S., there's a couple pretty major players that are pretty interested in what we've been finding here at South Dakota State and are considering adopting on a pretty wide scale.
In Brookings, South Dakota, this is Ariana Schumacher for AgWeek.
There are some processors that offer heat-treated soybeans for cattle producers to purchase. Barushi says they aren't as readily available as other feed sources. Oats are enjoying a renaissance in Minnesota. A new farmer-backed oat milling plant will open this summer, and plant breeders at the University of Minnesota are delivering new genetics aimed at helping local growers compete in a food-grade market long dominated by imports. Rose Dunn has more on the university's newest breed.
The Midwest is famous for its amber waves of grain, and now a new variety of oats called Minnesota Amber has been released by the University of Minnesota. The new breed was one of several topics covered at the U Extension's grain gathering in Rochester.
Yeah, we've actually had an oat breeding program in Minnesota for over 100 years, but the previous breeder, Dion Stuffman, retired, and once that retirement happened, that position wasn't rehired. So there was about a 7-year gap in efforts. And then for a number of different reasons, I got involved in restarting that program.
Kevin Smith is the university's oat breeder and a professor of agronomy. He says the focus was on food-grade performance rather than the less valuable feed.
When we restarted the program, we wanted to focus on varieties that would be better suited for the food market. So we wanted to emphasize things like test weight and grain protein and beta-glucan levels.
Beta-glucan is a soluble fiber associated with heart health and valued by processors. The variety arrives as Green Acres Milling, a $68 million farmer-invested oat processing plant, moves closer to operation in Albert Lea. The facility is expected to process about 4 million bushels of oats a year.
It's just been sort of a happy coincidence that we restarted the program, have now like a full pipeline, and now there's this sort of whole new clientele in southern Minnesota.
As more growers explore adding small grains to corn-soybean rotations, Smith says oats can offer both agronomic and economic benefits.
I think it's great. I think it's really important for farmers to have good alternatives to expand their rotations beyond a two-crop rotation. I think there's a lot of benefits both to the farmer and to soil health, and so being a part of that is great.
In Rochester, Minnesota, this is Rose Dunn for AgWeek.
Minnesota Amber was released as a public variety through the Minnesota Crop Improvement Association. A small amount of Minnesota Amber seed will be available to growers for planting season this year and will be widely available for the 2027 growing season.
About upgrading dryers, which I think in today's world where there's so much more corn around to get a hold of advanced grain, we were able to cover for 20% more acres and probably 20% less time this year, mostly due to the dryer.
Our combines ran longer and harder than they've ever run in the past because we actually had the capacity in the dryer. We're Jason and Justin Top, and we would highly recommend advanced grain handling for any of your grain dryer needs.
Partnership is a way of life here in the Northland. It's about pitching in to help our neighbors, making lending decisions locally, honoring long-term commitments to farmers, Main Street businesses, teams, schools, and rural communities. We're more than just a bank. We're a community partner, working constantly and diligently to enrich the lives of everyone we serve. Bank North, always true.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service, all controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary wind systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Crary offers two solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Crary Air Reel or Crary Wind System today.
What will the weather have in store for us as we enter the month of March? Here's Lydia with our Agro-weather outlook.
As we start a new month, we can take a look at the Climate Prediction Center's predictions for about the next 3 months. Now, keep in mind, this is all general and it's based off of averages, but the overall theme here is that the southern 2/3 of the country looking above average. Meanwhile, further up to the north, including a little bit closer to home here, from the northern Red River Valley all the way over into the Arrowhead of Minnesota is where the signal is there for slightly below average temperatures through March, April, into May. Now, that's a very generic statement. That doesn't mean that every single day is going to be below average, but added together, near normal into the gray areas, a little bit below average further up to the north and to the northeast. So I thought we would look at what changes during the month of March. In Fargo, the average high temperature on March 1st is 28 degrees. By the time we get to the end of the month, getting close to 50. March 31st, the average high temperature in Fargo is 45 degrees. What really starts to change is the daylight. Now, obviously, that's because daylight saving time does begin March 8th this year, in particular, to be specific. And so you see your sunrise and sunset times adjust as we go throughout the month. By the end of the month, the Fargo sunset is close to about 8 p.m. In Sioux Falls, average high on March 1st is 37 degrees. On the 31st, you're crossing over that 50-degree mark with a sunset time, again, just about 8 p.m. That's really region-wide. Minneapolis, just to pick a Minnesota town for you, on the 1st of the month, 34 degrees for the average high with the low at 18. We really see that adjustment. The average high is actually pretty close to the average low by the end of the month. Your average high on March 31st is close to about 50. What to expect for the next couple of weeks is kind of an opposite message of that 3-month graphic that I just showed you. We're actually looking at a little bit of a warm-up as the jet stream kind of travels its way further to the north. With that, we also have an active pattern setting up. We'll watch for different waves of light moisture to move through, mainly from the northwest to the southeast as the jet stream lines up in that pattern and continues to send in what we like to call Alberta clippers. That can give us some light moisture from time to time. We finish out this weekend cold, start to send that off to the east with mild air building its way in as we head throughout the week. I'm going to call it cool. Temperatures near or slightly above average for about the next 2 weeks. That doesn't necessarily mean warm. We will do some good snow melting for anybody that has snow left on the ground. Mild air continues to try to build its way up as we turn the calendar then into the next week of March. This map is for March 3rd through the 7th, and there is hardly any blue in the entire country. We're looking at a lot of above average temperatures here for the first week of March, including here at home. As we go into the next week, there's actually kind of a bullseye of warmer weather well off to the south, closer to the southeast parts of the country. This is where I'm going to start watching out for severe weather, kind of a clash between cooler up north and warmer further to the south, plus a jet stream pattern in that direction. So we might hear about some severe weather further off to the southeast as we head into next week.
At Bank North, we strive to enrich the lives of everyone we serve. One transaction, one relationship, and one community at a time. We do it by supporting kids and schools, pitching in to help neighbors in need, partnering with rural businesses, and providing all the traditional and modern banking products and personalized lending services you expect from a reliable financial partner. Bank North, always true.
Farming is more than just a job. It's a way of life. It's your hard work, your investment, your future. At Superior Grain Equipment, we're here to protect it all. From durable grain storage to gentle drying and handling solutions. We build systems designed to last, and we stand by you with service and support every step of the way. Superior Grain Equipment, proven solutions to help you grow.
What one-stop shop means to us at North Star Ag is we have a fully staffed service department, fully stocked parts department, as well as the sales department. We're also very mobile. We have service trucks that we can also meet you on the farm. You can have a piece of equipment that you're not really sure what you want to buy. And you can come to us at North Star Ag. We can really show you enough selection, have enough knowledge, and have enough price points where you feel good about walking out with your purchase that day.
That's best to have come in for an uptime, that way you don't have downtime later. For every hour that they're down, that costs them money. Fuel cost, the wages for their hired guys. If they don't get out there at the right time, their crop's too dry, it starts falling off, they start losing their bushels, they start losing money in a sense. You're literally just throwing money on the ground. So their time is precious and crucial, so they'd hate to have the downtime because they have to be out there and get it done as fast as possible. You put a lot of time into an uptime inspection. You know, it could take 10 to 12 hours to thoroughly inspect a machine to make sure that
Fertilizer bills cutting into your bottom line? With New Age Farming's Mycomax and Bionic, farmers are already saving $50 to $100+ per acre while building bigger root systems that tap nutrients already in your soil and the atmosphere. Less leaching, more water to every plant, and stronger yields across your acres. See how much you can save. Visit farmfungi.com and check out the Pick Your Profit program today.
Putting up a new bin site or expanding the one you have can be a daunting and time-consuming task, but Advanced Grain Handling makes the process seamless by being a one-stop shop for all your grain storing needs.
As farms grow and add capacity, grain handling decisions become more important.
We started with a raw piece of ground out here and we put in bins, and then we started coming in with the leg and dryer system and threw in a pit.
Advanced Grain Handling in Mayville, North Dakota works with farmers to add grain dryers and bins as integrated systems designed to support efficient harvest operations.
We had a dryer here that we just weren't really feeling like we were getting enough capacity out of it, and as corn acres kept getting higher, I guess we kind of decided last fall after harvest was over we were going to need to do something different and make an upgrade.
As farms grow and add capacity, how each part of a grain system works together becomes critical to operating efficiently.
We covered 20% more acres in probably 20% less time this year, mostly due to the dryer and being able to have the capacity.
Whether it's a new bin site or an expansion, Advanced Grain Handling Systems is a one-stop shop for grain handling.
Well, the biggest benefit of having it all done is it took all the guesswork out. The electrical already knew what they needed to do. The bin prep was already done. It just made life easy.
Everything is a one-stop shop there. You don't need to sit and pick your electrician out and all that. Everything's done, the dirt work and millwright and everything, and that's what we really liked about working with them.
Advanced Grain Handling Systems builds efficient grain systems designed for today and the future. From heavy-duty bins to top-of-the-line dryers, they're a trusted partner for new bin sites and expansions.
I would recommend Advanced Grain out of Mayville.
We would highly recommend Advanced Grain Handling. I highly recommend using Advanced Grain out of Mayville, North Dakota.
For more information about Advanced Grain Handling, please contact the number or visit the website listed on your screen.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face. and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
If you're thinking about upgrading dryers, which I think in today's world where there's so much more corn around to get a hold of advanced grain, we were able to cover for 20% more acres and probably 20% less time this year, mostly due to the dryer.
Our combines ran longer and harder than they've ever run in the past because we actually had the capacity in the dryer. We're Jason and Justin Topp, and we would highly recommend advanced grain handling for any of your grain dryer needs.
The Prairie Revolution Ditcher is the new standard for surface water management. The Revolution Ditcher leaves a smooth finished 5-foot flat bottom cut and cuts up to 10 inches in one pass. Throw dirt in either direction, up to 165 feet. Now with the hydraulic cross auger to break up dirt and keep you working faster. Check out the Revolution Ditcher at Prairie.com.
At Matic Ranch Supply, we believe in authenticity, which is why we only sell products we use and those we trust. From fencing to animal health products to the meat we raise on our very own ranch. We're there at every step of the process because we understand how a little help can go a long way in the ranching community. Visit MaticRanchSupply.com to learn how we can help you make more money on your farm and ranch.
Attention farmers, increase your revenue and prevent compaction from squeezing your profits with PTG's Central Tire Inflation System, now offered at OK Tire and Service. All controlled from the tips of your fingers, ensuring increased yield and improved fuel economy by adjusting your tire pressure within minutes. You are ensuring the best performance from your tractor on the field and off the field, compatible with any radial tire. Call the OK Tire team today or visit oktireinc.com to learn more.
Wool may be a solution for produce farmers looking to control weeds. Research at South Dakota State University looked at using wool mulch on pepper fields. They used raw wool and wool pellets as mulch both in and above the soil, then compared it to other products like landscape fabric, cardboard, and straw mulch. Wool can be used in place of these products as a more sustainable alternative.
They are potentially a more sustainable option instead of using repeated tillage if you're growing on bare ground conditions or using a lot of black woven landscape fabric or other black plastic products. But I think there's more to the story in South Dakota, and we really are excited to do a deeper dive into the research for both vegetables and cut flowers.
In the northern Great Plains, there is a decent amount of wool produced. The cost of adding this practice to a vegetable or cut flower operation is fairly low, especially if the raw wool is sourced from local sheep producers. Wool pellets are a higher cost. You can find more information on the SDSU Extension Horticulture Research website.